Hi folks. So this is my Twists and Turns shawl by Stephen West, which was this year's Mystery Knit Along. I changed mine a bit. So let me show you where I got up to. First of all, here's the centre panel as per the pattern, and let me show you the rest. So we have the centre panel as per the pattern. Then we have 4 of the short row wedges that were in the pattern, and I gradually morphed them into the stripes at the end. So the short rows get gradually smaller, the charcoal stripes also get gradually smaller. The charcoal stripes remain in the same pattern all the way through, they don't change. And there is shaping, so the short rows stop about here, and then there is shaping to bring the shawl to an end. And then for the border, I used the pattern for this section and then continued what I was doing really, and it matches this down here. And then for this final border, I brought in another colour, which is rust, to add some weight and some framing to the rest of the shawl, which I think it does really well. And the border's the same all the way along to bring it all together. So the charcoal is sparkly, hope you can see that nicely. And it's gold sparkle, which means that it goes well with the other colours as well. And then for the loops at the end of the braids, in the pattern they're sewn down, but I have hooked them in to the actual knitting, so they are fluid, they're sort of movable, they're a proper 3D object, if that makes sense. And I did that on the first row of rust, so I hope you can see that well. So yeah, I toyed with a few different cast off ideas and ended up just doing a normal knitted cast off. I was debating doing the cast off in charcoal or something else in charcoal at the bottom as well, but realised that the charcoal's there to show off the other colours. It's not there to really do anything spectacular in its own right, although it is sparkly, which helps. And I think if I'd used that for the border, it would have faded into the background. So I left that as rust, which I'm pleased with. The yellow here, I used that because I wanted this distinction between the body and the border. Like, you know when you see picture frames and they have a white card border around them before the main frame, I think of it as being like that. So I'm pleased with that, I think that works well. The combining, in all honesty, combining short row shaping into actual shaping, and then adding trying to make like the fabric go into chevrons as well. It didn't go quite as I expected, but I think I've got away with it. The shawls, actually, if you lay it out, it's kind of a bat shape. It kind of goes like that, and laid out flat it looks like it's about to take off, but luckily that doesn't matter because I'm not wearing it like that, so I think I've got away with it. It's probably about 8 feet long, I think, which is roughly sort of maybe a scarf length, so that's good. And I better show what it looks like on. So I tend to wear my shawls like this. Let's move that border over my shoulders to keep my shoulders warm. Oh, it's really cold today. There we go. So that's quite baggy. I can pull it nice and snug, like so. I must admit, doing the wings, what was quite a lot of brain power, it has to be said. It was not as easy as it looks, because I wanted the charcoal stripes to match up with the chevrons, both the spikes and the troughs, which meant that the wedges had to gradually decrease in such a way as to still match up, if that makes sense. So that was a bit like, you know, it took quite a lot of tweaking and scribbling and sketching to work out the best way to do it without making the shawl really, really long, because it's already quite big enough already. So yeah, I think that worked out okay. I got my other half, David, to help just kind of brainstorm some numbers, which was a really big help. And I had input from my staff as well, which was really, really big help. Claire was great with sort of suggesting other colours for the border, because I was quite undecided, and we came up with rust, which I think worked really, really well, because it's not too overpowering, but it adds weight to the border and frames the whole thing, so that's really good. I'm pleased with that. What else? It was just a lot. It was a lot. The border was about 500 stitches long, although if I'm honest, it didn't take as long to do as I expected. So yeah, that just is what it is, isn't it? It had to be done. So yeah, really, really chuffed with it. I think that'll work nicely under a jacket. You know, you could have your jacket over it and zip up and be quite nice and toasty underneath. I could wear it actually for work, because my apron would anchor it down under here, so these wouldn't flap about, and I still have got my arms free for working in the dye pots, which is great. So yeah, and it's about -1 today, so it's very much needed. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I think I will actually get wear out of this, which is helpful, isn't it? That's what you hope for. I mean, I'm happy to make things that just look nice, especially if I've enjoyed the process, but it does help if you can use them or wear them as well. I really enjoyed this, actually. I was glad that I stopped where I stopped, because I was doing the mystery knit along literally just one row at a time. I had no idea what it was going to look like or anything. So I did actually start the next section, the cable section, and there was just, I picked up the stitches, I looked at the next row, and I just thought, I don't think I actually want cables along here. I feel like I want, I don't know, something else. Anyway, so then I started looking at spoilers, and that gave me lots of ideas as to how to tweak it to my own preferences, without overcomplicating it. It was quite complicated enough already. So yeah, so it was actually really, really fun, kind of taking this thing and going, okay, but what do I want to do with this? Like, how do I want to make this look? I've got the beginnings of it, and now it's up to me to kind of create the rest. So that was fun. It was a bit overwhelming at first, but you know, you kind of well, I put it to one side, mulled it over for a while, and yeah, it sort of just ideas started to form. I sketched it out, which helped, and then yeah, so then we just had to hash out the details, and it was really fun. And it was really fun, actually. A bit risky, but it was fun not knowing if my idea would work either. It's just kind of like you kind of knitting, just going, I have no idea if this is going to work. Like, I hope it is, and I think it might. I don't actually know until it's done and blogged. And I mean, if it hadn't done, then I'd have maybe just folded it up and put it away and never spoken of it again. Maybe come back to it in about 5 years' time. But anyway, luckily it has worked out just fine, and I'm really chuffed with it. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that. Hope you like it, and I hope it inspires you with your projects as well. Bye.